Hey everyone, Zara here from Casuals. Today I want to talk about the nerfs and changes that have been made to the way you can gain experience for your heroes in Call of Dragons. Now, as many of you who have watched my previous videos on leveling heroes, you know that you were able to basically level up your heroes using gatherers. That was done with gathering talents. As you can see here, these talents were giving you a percentage of the resource gained as experience for the hero, and there are quite a few of them, up to basically 52,000 experience per day that you could gain for every hero, as well as their secondary. So you would send a gathering hero, and the second hero that would come with them would also be gaining experience equivalent to the same number. So you were able to get a lot of free XP every day on your heroes. Now, as you can see here, it is something that is still happening, but sadly it only affects the gathering heroes themselves who have the talent. So as you can see, my Ordo, who does not have that talent, will not gain any XP when he's with a gatherer. But when you have two gatherers together, as you can see here, they do both gain that XP. So basically the nerf is only that only the people with that talent can gain that XP, as opposed to before where anyone who's a secondary could also share that XP. Now, what does this change? Well, it changes a little bit for sure, because you won't be able to have so many free levels on any heroes that you are focusing on. But still, as when you are going to be going into a new season, which is pretty soon for most people who start the game at the beginning of the release, we will be getting still a pretty good boost on your gatherers. It is very important to level your gatherers early game, because gathering is still a very important part of this game. So this will definitely still have an impact. But otherwise, you will now be able to level up your main heroes. So we're talking about, fighting heroes like Lilia and Velen, and, like cavalry heroes and archers heroes, all kind of stuff. They are not gathering heroes whatsoever. They don't have that talent whatsoever. So you will not have to do any gathering with them. And you will have to go back to the good old method of gaining XP by fighting Darkling patrols, which is obviously the best source of XP in this game. As obviously the higher level they are, the better the XP, but they are still by far the only thing that gives a really high significant amount of XP every single day. Now, dark creatures also give XP, but it is a lot lower, so it is definitely not the main focus. And the last thing you can do as well, of course, in the open world with your CP, will be Darkling Fort, who do give a lot of tactic manuals, which you can then use to single-handedly go and give that XP to one hero in particular that you're focusing. So it is obviously a very good way of doing it. Now, for those who will be less familiar with this, the best way to really level your hero by doing Darklings, let's say I'm using my Bakar as an example here. He is going to, let's say, go and fight against a Darkling patrol. He will be gaining the full 25,000 experience this one would give, right? If I'm sending him by himself like this, there is going to be all the experience given to him. Now, if you bring two marches that need leveling, or even if they don't need leveling, like let's say this march, the experience will be split into. So my Nika would be getting half of the experience, and then my Bakar would be getting half of the experience. Now, Nika being maxable, it would go to waste, but any other hero that is not maxable, they will just be splitting. So at the beginning of the season, if you're looking to level up your heroes and you have marches that have two heroes like this, it is going to be a good method of doing so, but it is going to be, your CP is limited and you are going to be spending it on leveling multiple heroes. So you could potentially do a thing where you send 5 marches of 5 heroes plus 5 secondary heroes, which will make 10 heroes, which will cost you 250 CP, and you will be getting all the XP split up evenly between all of these heroes for every march of Darkling Patrol that you fight. And as I've explained before, when you fight a Darkling March, it costs 50 CP at first, but after fighting 5 of them without coming back to your city, it goes down to 40 CP, which means that it is much more valuable if you have 5 marches with 100,000 plus troops each, fighting one target and doing the 40 CP over and over and over, so that you can save on CP over time, instead of having 2 or 3 marches with 2 heroes each and having to reset over and over and over. And that will give you the most amount of XP on targeted heroes that you want to focus on, because you would rather have 2-3 marches with only level 50 or 60 heroes as soon as possible in the season than have, let's say, 5 marches of 10 heroes that are all level 40. So because the leveling this game will do make a big difference. It will unlock new talents and will make your march much stronger than having many heroes at a medium level as opposed to having a few heroes at a very high level. Now, the nerfs didn't affect anything else other than the XP from gathering in terms of experience. So that is, good news. Of course, you won't be able to get the free XP from gathering anymore, but you will be able to do the Darkling Legions as you were able to before. Now, another thing that I want to talk about that I think is overlooked by a lot of players is going to be basically around reset time and around, basically it depends on like your time, but in game it's going to be at midnight and at noon UTC. There are going to be monsters like this. They are basically acolytes, I guess, behemoth acolytes, and they are going to be around every behemoth lair in the game. As you have probably seen before, they drop runes that give nice buffs and all that kind of stuff. But these monsters can be killed, as you can see, 10 times per day. So you can send 5 marches and kill 2 of them, or you can send 1 march and kill 10 of them. And this will give you a lot of decent experience as well as arcane dust and as well as prestige. So in the beginning of the season, this will be something that you will be wanting to focus on in order to get some extra experience for your heroes, because it is free. It does not cost any CP. As you can see here, there's no CP cost whatsoever, and it will give quite a lot of books, 32,000 XP each. You do that, it's not always exactly, I think it can be a little bit higher or lower depending on the tier, but obviously the higher the behemoth is, harder it is, the more level this will give, the higher level they are. And it is just free. It has absolutely no cost whatsoever, and you can have all your marches at once. You can have your friends, alliance members do it, and you all will get this reward, limited of 10 times per day. So I recommend you do that, since we now lost a bit of XP from having our gathering heroes for us. Now, of course, the Dragon Trail is also one of your main sources of XP. As you can see, you get a lot of books here, and you will claim this at least once every 24 hours, because after 24 hours it caps and you lose it. So I'm getting 4,500 XP per hour here. So every 24 hours you must come and loot it, otherwise it will go to waste. You can also do quick loot to give you 120 minutes worth of this, and you can do this 4 times per day, the first time being free and then the 3 next times being 480 gems, which is only worth doing at the beginning of the season, not any time afterwards. As you can see, I have millions of this and I don't need any of it anymore, except for the store where I can buy this, but I'm already doing that. Now, there will also be one thing that they mentioned in the patch notes that will also impact the way you level your heroes. To 50 to 60 will now be capped by doing only PvP stuff. So of course this is new and we don't know exactly how it works. So make sure to stay tuned for a video covering that entirely as soon as the new season starts, and I have more information about this. But just so you know, these are the basics on how leveling heroes work. And as I said, I would really recommend focusing on your main heroes. Like for me, it's going to be like Lydia, Velen, Kinara. Like you can see these top 6 here are my 6 heroes for archers, mages, cavalry, and infantry. And these are the ones that I mostly are going to focus on. Most likely, I would focus on the hero that is leading the march. So in my case, I would like to take Velen as the main hero, or sometimes Lilia, depending on if I want the skill tree or the control tree. I will level that hero first, and the secondary doesn't need to be as high level, because the benefits from being high level from a secondary is only that you can bring more legion, more troops, but your talents don't matter and the skills apply the same no matter what level the hero is. So it is very important that you level the main hero. So in my case, it will be Kinara for PvP. Guanwin is my secondary, but even if I have another secondary, it doesn't matter. They can be lower level. It won't be the priority. You will level the primary hero of your march first to level 60 in order to get that march as strong as possible. Don't neglect the secondary, just don't focus it as much as the primary. If you have any questions about leveling and heroes, of course, make sure to ask in the comment, and stay tuned for the next season, which starts in about 2 weeks from my server, in which will of course include a lot of new content and a lot of new ways of doing things that will be revealed further on when we get there. So I will make sure to cover that in the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.